right, welcome to One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I'm your host, Kirk DeMars, and please forgive me with my voice tonight. Fought off a sinus infection a couple of days ago, couldn't even hardly talk, so I'm not going to do much talking tonight. I'm going to leave that up to Jesiah. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this special edition of Sports Locker Magazine, One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. And, I know everybody's getting ready for the holidays. So, what a treat and a gift we have tonight to have such an outstanding young man on the program. And so, we're going to get right into it. Jesiah Simmons of the Eldon Mustangs. You can see his article right here. Was in the November-December issue of Sports Locker Magazine. And pretty interesting is that on this day that we were there for his photo shoot, the weather was horrible outside. I mean, it was raining everywhere, so we had to do everybody's photo shoot in the gym. And I thought that, check out those poses. He did an awesome job. But Katie did a great job as far as the photography, and we had a lot of fun. And was looking forward to having him on the program tonight so that you could get a little bit extra. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring Jesiah on. Hey, Jesiah, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good. It's good to have you on here. I know you said before we, came live that Coach was nice and let you guys not have practice today.
Yeah. I've been taking real advantage of it. I slept in this morning. It felt great. So,
Yeah, he's probably going to say don't get used to that.
oh yeah, no, he'll be mad at me. He told us to get a run together. But I thought I was going to be working today, and then that got canceled. So I took
Okay.
advantage of my sleeping in.
Well, very good. I don't even know what that's like anymore. I try to, but for some reason I just keep waking up at the same time. It's like, ah, come on.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard.
All right. I want to just talk to you a little bit tonight about your article. We'll talk about a few other things, but what'd you think of your article, and what have you been hearing from other people?
I was actually really pleasantly surprised. Uh, I felt like my answers were represented very well. I was really happy to be reading what I was reading. I was like, man, they did a really good job. Loved the pictures. I was a little worried how they were going to turn out because we were in the gym with just full blown lighting going on, and I was like, but yeah, no, it ended up great, and got a lot of good feedback. Um, Most people who came up to me, because I was in another magazine, they came up to me and they were talking about Sports Locker. They're like, "Saw you in Sports Locker. That looked awesome. Good job." So yeah, it was a lot of great stuff, and I was a little worried about like my faith answers as far as that goes, because I never know like if because I've been interviewed a few different times now, but most of the time I ever answer like regarding my faith, it normally gets cut out, or just not used. And so I was really happy to see that because
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
what was going to happen there. But
Well,
yeah,
one thing that we always do is we allow the student athlete to go ahead and share, and then if they share, then we're all in. Going in from there. So we always want to represent, and you did an outstanding job in answering that, and could tell a lot about you and your character from your answers on that. So great job.
thank you.
Okay, so your title of your article, it said it's his heart. What do you see as the meaning behind that?
Um, I personally see it as that like my um level of success and how much I've been able to achieve has come from not really my talent per se, but more the drive and determination I've put in behind that. Um, I feel like it's just speaking to like my level of commitment and how passionate I am about the sport. Because without that, then it kind of fades pretty quickly, and you have a lot of people dropping out or quitting when it gets tough. But yeah,
Well, your parents, they also made a comment, and they mentioned in the article that your heart defines you. What motivates you to put into others and help, or pour into others and help them achieve their goals? What motivates you to do that?
One thing that would motivate me is my family. My family has always poured into me, and they've always uh, pushed me to be a better person. And so I've always felt like I should return that favor. But then also, uh, like, I feel like that's my job as a Christian athlete is to represent that. Uh, like how God poured into me, I should pour into others. And so, yeah, I just think that it's a really necessary factor for me to be like holding myself in a correct manner and like pouring into others how I was poured into.
Mhm. Very good. That's a good answer. And again, I really like. I mean, it's not necessarily what we think about ourselves, but it's what others see from our actions and our character that way. So, I think that's a um, very good thing that people recognize that in you. So, good job. Um, I want to ask you a little bit about the fire that you have for being in competition. But before I do that, I do want to mention to everybody that's watching, feel free to jump in and make any comments that you would like about Jesiah, and or if you have a question that you want to throw out, we'll try to get that included as well. But um, just make sure that you fill out those comments. We'll try to get them on the program. And outstanding young men. I know that you guys know that as well, and you're joining in with us tonight. So we want to definitely hear from you all. All right, Jesiah, talk about the fire for competition. Where did that come from?
I think I was born with it. Even as a very small child, I was always wanting to win. If it was something involving other people, it was a competition, whether that be tying your shoes or walking somewhere, anything I could make a competition, that's what it was, and I was gonna win it. And so I've always felt the drive to win, and I always hated losing, but that's something I've learned to grow with. But yeah, I think I think I've always had that.
Well, that's good. The only thing I could say about it, maybe probably a time where it's not so good. Um, and I did this with my daughter. I would hardly ever let my daughter win in like table games or something like that, even when she was little.
Yeah.
And she'd be so frustrated. And but now that she has children, she understands exactly why. You got to learn how to lose in order to be a good winner. And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with you. I didn't like to lose. I still don't like to lose.
Yeah, no, my
uh,
brothers helped me with that.
yeah, absolutely. There's always somebody trying to take you off the throne, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
beat you a peg down.
that's right. That's right. Um, you mentioned a little bit when we first started the interview, but why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about your faith being important to you? Um, what about all that? How does that really help define you?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, really everything to me. So I'm, I like to say God first. But so that's why I always pray before all my matches. Just to anyone who's watching, kind of redirect their attention to why I'm doing it and my own. Kind of keeps me centered, reminds me that like this isn't my glory. This isn't anything I could do without what God's given me. And so, yeah, that's I would say it kind of defines who I am.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw you a curveball in here real quick. Have you ever prayed for your competitor?
You know, I have I think twice. Uh and
Prayed for him in a good
uh
way?
yeah.
Yeah.
I had to I wrestled a kid and he was paralyzed from the waist down. Um so yeah, I think that put my attention a little more on more than
Mhm.
just the match. So
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So your faith, what part does that play in leading others? Not only in the classroom, but on the track and in the mat, on the mat.
Yeah, it really challenges me because I never want to be hypocritical in my actions, and so I try to like represent Christ in the way that I lead others. So if I'm ever leading others, I feel called, like if I'm telling someone to do something or my teammates, like, hey, you should be supporting your teammates, you should be like working harder and stuff like that. Like even if things aren't related uh to like my faith, I think that I need to represent that in my actions and not just my words. Um and that goes school, any place. If I'm telling kids like, hey, we should study or something, like I'm obviously going to be studying, but yeah, I feel like that I need to be doing what I am telling other people to do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We got to lead by example. All right. So Michelle says, "Way to go, Jesiah and the Mustangs." So thanks for bringing that on there, Michelle. We appreciate that. All right. You talk about leaving a legacy as a hardworking Christian athlete. How's that look, and what is the reward for you for that?
um i think I think the reward for me would just be giving people coming up someone to see, and see that like somebody can do it with a Christian faith, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I want to be a good example uh for any wrestler coming up, or track athlete, or just even a student, that like you can do it, that you can um not get distracted by everything life is throwing at you, um even though like it becomes a lot, especially doing sports. So yeah, I think that's the legacy that I was meaning by that.
Yeah. You know, bottom line is the most important thing that we can do is influence and love other people. Um, I know you believe that from your faith, and that's what we were commanded to do, is to love God and to love others as He's loved us. So keep doing that, and He will take you many places in a long way, and you'll be able to. That's going to be the most beneficial thing that you'll ever do, regardless of what you choose to do in your career. So, great job.
Mm.
How do you remain humble when you get a lot of attention?
It's hard. If I'm being honest, it is hard. Uh, Especially this past year or so, whenever um I started really succeeding at wrestling and academics, and track. Uh, because a lot of people start giving you attention, and it's really easy to be like, man, I'm so good. And one thing I remember, or I try to remember, is that like I would never have been given this opportunity. Like, yeah, I can put in work, but like I wouldn't even be on earth without God. And so that's that's one thing that keeps me humble. Another thing that keeps me humble is just like how much of it isn't up to my ability. Like how much I've been given and blessed with, whether that be my family or school and team. So yeah.
All right, very good. We're going to get into your family in the next segment, but right now I want to ask you, what about your education? Why is that so important to you?
Um, I believe that you should always set yourself up for success. And so I think that I have done to my best capabilities that. And so I try my hardest in school and academics, uh, so that whatever opportunity I do wish to take hold of in the future,
Mm-hmm.
I have the option of doing that.
Very good, and we're just gonna you just keep bringing up stuff. We're gonna keep talking about that as we go on. But an important part in education are the teachers and the administration. Why don't you give a little bit of a shout out and how have they made a difference in your life?
Yeah. I would say uh, there's a few teachers that teach you more than just the material. They like teach you how to solve problems on more than just paper. And one teacher that helped with that was my freshman year. It was actually my lowest grade ever in high school. It's honors geometry, and it was Mr. Jacob Kelling. Uh, and he had a saying called "High Tide and Ride," and it's kind of meant like suck it up, like things get tough, but it's time to go. And yeah, I would say that he helped get my mentality on, along with my coaches. My coaches were always a huge help there.
It's important. Not only do they serve as mentors, but they also help motivate and definitely challenge. So that's good. And uh, that knowledge that you gain from them and seeing how they handle themselves, you're going to be able to follow those examples and treat other people the way that they've treated you. So we just want to say thank you to the teachers and the faculty for all that you do as far as pouring into young student athletes like Jesiah. All right. Well, you've flown through this first part. Nothing's happened. Everything's okay. So uh, you did great. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick
Okay.
sponsor break. We do want to encourage everybody. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to just keep bringing those on in here. We're going to do a quick sponsor break and we'll be right back.
CNS Business Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, CNS Employment Solutions, we appreciate them. They've been a great sponsor for Sports Locker Magazine, which we are going into our 10th year. Um, we greatly appreciate all of the people that help bring the articles, like Jesiah Simmons' article from um, Eldon High School. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cough. But we appreciate everything that they do as well as what they do for our community. Um, Making sure that people find jobs that need them and employers find the employees that they need to fill those jobs. Also, we have Big Whiskies as a sponsor, and they do our Coach of the Issue. Excuse me. And we really appreciate our coaches. We're going to get into that a little bit more. And we're going to, sorry guys, we're going to get into that a little bit more in this segment. So without any further ado and me coughing more, let's go ahead and bring Jesiah back on. All right, Jesiah, talk about your family. Tell us about your mom and dad and what you've learned from them and what you appreciate about them.
Yeah, two amazing people. Been great role models for me. Uh, they raised five children, and I was the last, so everyone said I was going to be spoiled, but I disagree with that statement, but that's a topic for another time. Yeah, they showed me that I don't know, I could make it out, like no matter what, that I could if I have my feet planted in the right place and I put my mind to it, that I can achieve anything I set my mind to, and that they would be in my corner there to back me through that.
So you talk about being the youngest of your youngest of five siblings. Why don't you go ahead and talk about your siblings and what you appreciate about each of them?
Yeah. It was a bit of a challenge when in those younger years, but yeah, we'll start in chronological order. We first have Isaiah, the oldest. He was our first wrestler and a huge role model for me through that, um, and kind of really sparked my love for wrestling. Watching him on the mat and seeing him wrestle, I was like, man, I want to be doing that. Especially watching him wrestle at state. I remember a distinct memory. It was after he won state his senior year. I walked up to him and I went, I'm going to be a four-timer. And that didn't end up happening, but yeah, uh, nice little story there. Second oldest, Caleb, was always a bit more quiet than the rest, uh, but he would always be there to comfort you through any hard time. Uh, and then we had Soraya, the middle child, and my father's princess. She was the only girl of five. Uh, we had our fair share of fights, and you never wake her up in the morning. So, and then there was Sam, and we were the closest in age. So we fought the most because we were around each other the most. Uh, but I really got a bond with him uh, last year and the year before, being able to be on a team together. And junior year, or his junior year, my sophomore, we got to qualify for state together. And that was just a really sweet moment to see hard work pay off.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you guys like have any Rumble in the Jungle matches when everybody's home?
Absolutely. More so when we were little, but now my mom tries to break it up. She's like,
Hmm.
someone's gonna get hurt, someone's gonna get hurt. But we do it anyway, especially if she's not looking. Uh, we'll roll around with dad when we can. Lots of smack talk going on between us, and lots of ganging up on, I will add.
Uh-huh.
Especially if someone's mad, they'll be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, calm down," and then they'll pin you down, and you're like, "This is not fair." Like you demand a 1v1, and no, but yeah.
Okay. So who holds the championship belt in the family?
What in the rustling around
Yeah.
at home?
Yeah.
Um, I think that depends who you ask, in my opinion. But I would say here's the thing. Here's the thing. um, Caleb is probably the scariest to wrestle out there. When he gets a little flustered, he has some crazy strength. Uh, but personally, I feel like I can take most of them on at this point. Now, when I was younger, it was Isaiah.
Yeah.
Isaiah was not the person you messed with, which makes sense. He was the oldest, but yeah, now I have a pretty big head on my shoulders because I think I can take most of them on.
Okay.
But yeah, no, if Caleb was mad, I would not mess with him.
I'll say, how's your sister fit into all of that? I mean, does she, um, what's her role in all this?
Oh, yeah, when we were younger, she was the feistiest of us all.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she used to wrestle back in the day, and she would beat up on the boys she was wrestling. So yeah, she was definitely scary. That's why I didn't want to wake her in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but yeah, now as we boys got older and started hitting puberty, it was an unsaid rule that was spoken that we never really went 100% from that point on. But yeah.
All right. We got a couple comments here. One from Samuel. He said, I will state all three of us boys struggled to get him even on his back. So there you go. That's a
Thanks for the
good one.
props, Sam.
And then also from your dad, such a proud mom and dad here. So, mom and dad, you guys have done an outstanding job. So, well done. And He's doing a really good job on the interview. Again, you guys can feel free to throw any details that he misses, um, maybe anything that other people might want to know that he might not want them to know. I mean, feel free to do that too.
Yeah,
Right?
speak up if you disagree, I guess. We'll see what happens after this interview.
Yeah. Now let's talk about your coaches. They've been instrumental in your success. Talk about track coaches as well as your wrestling coaches and what kind of an impact have they had on you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, support, 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 support. I was scared going into high school. I mean, I think most people are. It was so new. Everyone talked it up, how hard it was going to be, and all that. And so I knew sports was going to be difficult. Um, but yeah, I always had someone in my corner, especially Bird. I'll talk about wrestling coaches, then track. Uh, Bird was, I mean, there for me through it all, through huge losses, huge wins, and the days I didn't want to be at practice. He was in my ear telling me stuff to get through it. He was keeping my eyes on the future. Um, so yeah, it was always good to know I had someone in my corner, even though he would yell at us as a team and I'd get frustrated and I'd talk about quitting to my teammates and I'd be like, this is stupid. Um, he always ended up like making it worth it, I guess. And then on to track coaches. Uh, had a few switches throughout my years of my coaches, but yeah, I would say we have a new boys head coach. I guess I say new. He's been there for 2 years now, so since my sophomore year. But yeah, he really just listened to what Coach Eldridge had to say, which is the girls' coach, but he coaches pole vaulting as well. So that's the person I'm around the most on the field, and whatever I ask for, he tries to get me. If I'm asking for a new pole, which I am this year, they got me a new pole. So like they've always been there and listened to what I needed and supported me through that and given me the financial help.
All right, good.
So yeah.
Since you mentioned, talking about track and pole vaulting, obviously that's one of your events. What are some other events that you compete in?
I actually only compete in pole vaulting at the moment,
Okay.
but this year, senior year, I was planning on joining javelin, give that a go, as well as maybe, sadly, the 400 or 800 because we just had one of our track boys have a pretty severe injury, broke his leg. So, yeah, we'll probably have an opening there that we need to fill. So I may bite the bullet, I may not. Don't tell my track coach that. I haven't made up my mind.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry to break the news to you, but it is online. He'll be able to pull it up, and he'll say, "I got evidence. I've got evidence right here."
No.
All right. So pole vaulting. How did you decide that you wanted to get involved in that?
I wanted to fly, and that was the closest thing I could get, and I tried it, and I loved it. Yeah, I had a pretty natural talent for it, I would say. Um, I'm guessing wrestling helps cross that over. A lot of upper body strength and movement. So yeah, middle school. Sadly, COVID year was my 7th grade year, which is the first year we were in middle school. So it was my first year of track. So I didn't get my first year of track. So I was behind the ball on that. But I tried it out in 8th grade. And yeah, I was like, man, I want to do this. And so that's what I did. And back in middle school, I did 3 more events. I did the 4x1, 4x2, and hurdles. But as I got to high school, I was like, I'm too short for hurdles. And I was like, well, if I'm not doing hurdles, I might as well just focus on pole vaulting because I loved it over there.
So you're a thrill seeker, obviously. So you decided that you're going to get in the one event where you run as fast as you can down the track with a long pole, try to stick it in a little hole, and then just hurdle yourself up in the air over a bar.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Um, and I will add that it has gone astray multiple times. Like I have flung myself the wrong direction. Luckily, the biggest injury I've ever had while pole vaulting is rolling my ankle. Um, and it wasn't even a sprained ankle. So I am very blessed there, but I've had some very, very close calls. Scared a lot of my teammates, hit some pretty cool Spider-Man landings. But yeah, it's definitely scary. But what I always tell the middle schoolers and the new kids is if you're scared, you're going to get hurt. So don't be scared because, yeah, if you go with it, because what you'll see is you'll see kids running for the first time. They get up in the air and they hold the stick like this and they kick their legs and they start freaking out. And I'm like, just go up there. And if you start going the wrong way, you start falling, just let it happen. And then cushion your land from there. But if you start freaking out, bad stuff's going to happen.
It's almost like you were describing me right there just a second ago, running down there, going up, and then, I got up. I only tried it one time and got up, and then I just went sideways off of the mat. And
Yeah.
that's good for me. I'm done. I'm going to go back to running the 400 meters. I threw the javelin, high jumped, did all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, pole vault, that wasn't for me. So, what's been the highest height that you've gone?
13.6, I believe, at state. This last season. Which it could be. It's probably a little different than that because it was metric, but yeah, I was really, really close to beating the record. So
Good.
that'll be fun to do this next season with my new pole.
Yeah. So, what's been your greatest accomplishment so far in track?
Probably state medal. I got a state medal. It should be right. No, it's not that one. This one. State medal. That was really fun to do. Helped my team get second place for the first time ever. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of my friends were there competing, so I got to be there and cheer them on. Specifically, Will Richardson. He was high jumping, and he's been a lifelong friend. Known him since birth, basically, and I got to watch him win, which was amazing because he did not think he was going to at first. So, yeah, that was really cool to see him do that. But
What place did you finish in state?
I finished, I should say on the map, sixth.
6. Okay. What's your goal for this year?
My goal this year, so there were a lot of seniors there at the last tournament, and with a new poll, I think I should be doing better. My goal is top 4, because there are 2 kids in there that are kind of insane. One of them broke the state record. The other one is clearing some insane number. He's from Blair Oaks. But so I'm aiming top 4, maybe top 3. I think I can do it.
All right.
So I'm excited.
Well, good. Looking forward to hearing how you do on that. All right. So let's talk now about wrestling. You've been doing that for a long time, since 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
Well, 6th grade, as far as probably competitive, you were wrestling before that in the household with your siblings,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Which I went to like 1 or 2 club tournaments, but most of that was very little league stuff, or like those tournaments cost a lot of money. And so my parents' rule was once I got into middle school and you didn't have to pay to go to every meet and tournament, that's when I could wrestle on a team. And so that's what it turned into. So yeah, I was very excited once 6th grade hit, because even though it wasn't middle school for my school, they put me in club because they told me middle school, and I argued that 6th grade is middle school for most schools. So
There you go. Yeah. I mean, you were lobbying, so
yeah,
sounds like you did a good
yeah.
job on that. Uh, what have been your career highlights, and also you had a few disappointments. Talk about that.
Oh yeah. So quite a few disappointments. One that most people don't know, and try not to say too much, but I'm getting it out there more. Is my first ever high school match was a loss, and so that that was really hard, especially mentally, because I was scared already for high school, and then to lose, and then my parents are trying to be like cushion the blow, make it better, and then I'm upset because I lost, and so I like snap at them, and then they're just there trying to comfort me, so then I feel bad and apologize. But yeah, that was a pretty big disappointment. I would say the next biggest disappointment is not medaling my freshman year. Uh, I had the goal of being the first ever 4-time state medalist from Eldon. And so when I lost that last match, it was really disappointing because I beat one of the kids who did medal. Um, so yeah, that was pretty disappointing. And Isaiah was there afterwards to comfort me. So, but yeah, on to success. Uh, I'm pretty sure one of the questions say it later, but my semifinal win against a returning state champion to qualify me to go to the state finals as a sophomore. That was huge. Like I said, my favorite memory. Um, and so yeah, that was a huge success. Another huge success was my record of 38-0 until it got ruined in the state finals, which was another disappointment. But yeah, I'd say that about covers it
Good.
as far as
Yeah, you
success and
talked.
failure.
Yeah, you talked about that. When you beat the kid that was a returning state champion. One thing that you remembered was the roar of the crowd and how that really impacted you. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, leading up to the match, I've already known of this kid. The previous year, he teched me, uh, and so that means he had 15 more points than me. So they end the match early. So this kid recognizes me, and apparently he's going around talking and all this stuff about how easy it's going to be. And then on paper, like every prediction ever has me losing against him, and he's set out to be like a 4-time state champion. So not not a lot of people believed I could win. Um, so it was really intimidating going into it, but I knew I was just going to go out there and I was going to wrestle and I was going to give it my hardest. And as we're going, as the match is happening, he's taking a lot of shots. I'm defending them. The score is close. We get on the boundary quite a few times. Some close calls happen, but then we head into uh, the next periods, and I get the choice, and I'm dead. He's dead. Uh, but I need points, and so I I do what I think is the correct decision, and I choose neutral because I have it set out in my mind that I'm gonna outwork him um, in this later period, and so that's what I do. And we get to it. He got in on a shot, and I stopped it, and then I stepped over and put him to his back. And whenever I stepped over and put him to his back, it's really hard to hear with headgear on.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if you know that. Sometimes you can't even hear the coach who's a few feet away. But man, you just heard a scream. Like it was clear as day. I mean, you heard the whole crowd go crazy. Uh, but specifically I could hear it straight in the direction of where all the Eldon people were sitting, and it felt really good. And that was before I even pinned him. Once I pinned him, there's a picture out there somewhere of me screaming, and yeah, it is just pure emotion. It was just overwhelming, really. Um, and then they announced it over my school. So I had friends texting me, and so like whenever I got back to my phone after the match, like I have my dad running up to me all smiling and stuff, and then I get back to my phone and kids are congratulating me from school. So yeah, that was, it was just a really, really good moment. And like it made me the youngest ever state finalist for Eldon. And so that it was just like the cherry on top. So yeah.
Yeah, very good. Do you know how? So the kid that you defeated, the returning state champion, how did he end up doing that year?
He wrestled up the backside and got third.
Got third.
So
Okay.
yeah. And then now he's a higher weight class. He hit puberty a little harder than me and gained quite a bit of weight.
All right. That's awesome. Uh, Talk about your individual goals as well as for the team this year for the wrestling season.
Yeah. Currently my individual goal is to be an undefeated state champion, instead of being one match away. And then also I want to have fun while I'm out there. Last state tournament, it felt really like business. And while it is going to be business, I think I was taking it too serious, and I just need to enjoy my last year um, on my team. And speaking of my team, my goal for our team, if possible, and I think it is, if my team pushes themselves, is to have 4 to 5 state qualifiers,
Mm-hmm.
um, and 3 state podium finishes.
Very good.
So yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to that as well. That'll be awesome. Um, so those are your plans for wrestling season. What about your plans for after high school? What are you planning on doing?
Yeah. So as of currently, and this has been switching up quite a lot, especially nearing scholarship season and filling out FAFSA and all that stuff. My current plan is to go to college for mechanical engineering, uh, and major in a degree in that. And as far as wrestling goes, I see it as an opportunity. And if the correct uh, opportunity presents itself, I could see myself wrestling in college for sure. Um, but if that doesn't happen, then I'm not really too sure about what's going to happen with wrestling. My coaches always tell me I need to come back and be a coach, or which I've been doing a lot of helping out with middle school, so I think that contributes. But
Sure.
yeah,
But hold off on the coach part yet. You still got stuff you got to do. So do.
yeah,
Let's see. Your
that's
dad's
what
come
I'm
on
saying.
here. Your dad says, while Jesiah is tremendous on the mat, he truly gives the same in everything he does in life. We're so excited to see all that he accomplishes in life. This is truly just the beginning. Thank you, Cliff. Appreciate that. You guys, again, reiterate, you guys have done a good job. Speaking of good job, Josiah, you've done an excellent job. We've gone through everything. I do want to ask a couple of quick speed round questions, though. Just the really important stuff that everybody's wanting to
Oh
know.
yeah.
What is your favorite go-to snack or meal after a wrestling match?
Ooh, I'm a sushi lover.
Okay.
If at all possible, if there's a sushi place in town, that's where we're heading. And yeah, love me sushi. So that's what I'm hitting up. or
Okay.
ice cream.
Do you like wasabi?
Um, I'm not a huge fan, but I do have a special talent where I can eat it without any reaction.
Okay, that's good.
And most people don't believe it, and I got $5 out of that one time. So
All right, now you
yeah.
mentioned ice cream. What's your favorite ice cream?
Ooh, cookies and cream or cookie dough.
All right, and
Um,
favorite
so
place
yeah.
that you get that?
Favorite place. Got to shout out Ice Cream Factory.
Okay,
Um,
right there on Eldon and Jeff City.
always, oh yeah, always a
Yep.
great place to go.
Yeah, well, good. All this is going to help because you're going to say, "Mom, Dad, I'm hungry," and they're going to know exactly what you want to do, where you want to go. So that
Oh yeah.
go have some sushi and then go get some ice cream at the ice cream factory. All right, now this is the one that maybe we'll get comments from your parents. I don't know. What is your least favorite chore to do around the house?
Ooh, dishes. Yeah,
Okay.
dishes. Got to be dishes. I hate dishes, and I remember one time it wasn't even doing dishes. It was unloading the dishwasher. And I was young. I was pretty young because I wasn't allowed to unload the dishwasher. And I really wanted to for some reason. I don't know if I felt left out or what, because all my siblings would do it. And I begged my mom to, and she was like, no. And all my siblings were like, yeah, no, you should let him. You should let him, because they didn't want to do it. And so I started doing it. Well, I don't know why. And this makes me always question my intelligence. But I, for some reason, thought I'm getting the dishes out of the dishwasher and putting them in the sink. And then I run out of room, and I go up to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I ran out of room. And she was like, what do you mean you ran out of room? And I'm like, in the sink. And she was like, you did what? And so I was not allowed to unload the dishes from the dishwasher for quite a while, which was an accidental good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hate washing dishes, especially with a family of 7,
Yeah.
which it's gotten better now that they've all moved out. But yeah, that was never something I looked forward to. And I
All
would
right.
bribe my siblings to get out of it.
You would.
I'd
Okay.
make deals. Yeah, I'd make deals. I'd give them massages, food, something,
Whatever
anything.
works, right? Whatever
Oh yeah.
works. Well, your dad, he has something that he wants to say here real quick. Last 4 questions I got right. LOL. So there you go. Obviously knew what you were going to say and hit it on the head. So, well,
Yeah.
Josiah, outstanding job. I've enjoyed having you on here. Again, if somebody hasn't checked out your article, go to sportslockermagazine.com. We have the digital issue on there. You can share that, as well as we encourage you to share this interview that we did tonight. You can do that from our Facebook page, as well as you can go on to our YouTube page and see it as well. Uh, I'm going to have you hold on if you would afterwards. I want to speak with you again for just a moment. But thank you so much. Any final comment that you want to make to people watching?
Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you tuning in to hear a little more about me. It means a lot. And yeah, love God.
All right. Great job. All right, Josiah, I'll see you in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and close out the program. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight on One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I'm your host, Kirk DeMars. Enjoyed my time with Jesiah tonight and hope you enjoyed it as well. Again, make sure you share this with your friends and family and an outstanding young man. Just want to tell you all Merry Christmas, and we will be back on here again next Monday night at 7 p.m. as always. Until next time, I'm your host, Kirk DeMars. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.